Hello, everybody. I'm Sarah Michel, and this is another weekly challenge to God, my weekly session where I do a live stream where I challenge God directly to provide any evidence that He, in fact, exists. This is something I've been doing for a while, and the idea is to do an experiment to see if God can provide. It's a challenge. I demand Him to provide evidence that He exists. I don't believe in God. I am an atheist. And I don't see any reason to believe in God, especially in the interventionist God. And since God has the capacity to reveal Himself to people, the reason why I do these streams is to challenge Him to do that to me in a live stream. Because if He's capable of doing that in front of this camera, provide any demonstration of His immense and infinite power, because He's supposedly omnipotent, he would end atheism once and for all, and there will be no more reason to doubt His existence. So this is an experiment. It's a live experiment that I do every week, every other week. But not to make this so boring, I like to bring up a different topic every week that I do this. And today I am doing this based on a comment that I got in one of my previous videos about the possibility of God or gods being software programmers and I found that it was such an interesting intake. I am a Cartesian skeptic myself, and I think I'm not a completely solipsist, but of course I understand the merits of the Cartesian doubt. And of course, when you think about the Cartesian doubt, and ultimately you cannot prove that reality exists, etc., it opens that possibility of everything being nothing but a computer programming. Since the only thing that I know for sure is that I exist, I could be just a line of code in a program, in a simulation. And that opens that possibility. What if we are just in a simulation, we are just line of codes, or we are stuck in a matrix or whatever? What if God is just a software programmer? It's not exactly an alien race, but since God being a software programmer, God would have the capacity to alter reality as God wishes. And God actually created the universe with the properties that He has. Also opens the idea of multiple universes. There could be other matrices out there that we don't have access to. So this all makes it's a sci-fi take to it, but considering how God is ultimately defined as the omnipotent being capable of creating universes and altering the laws of nature, it is an interesting possibility. However, going back to what I said in my last stream about the God of the Gaffers, the God of mass extinctions, which poses a problem to the idea of the perfect God. If there is one God as a software engineer, I see a problem with that, because since we have so many mass extinctions, since we have so many things going on that could simply be started all over again, and as Nutty Rodent pointed out in the chat, ancestor or non-ancestor universe. Yeah, I think if the most sensible thing, if we had a perfect God that was a software engineer, if things were fucking up, if things are wrong, in my opinion, it wouldn't make more sense that God would simply delete everything, or at least would reboot the universe, instead of causing a mass extinction of dinosaurs, for example, and just changing the course of evolution. It could be simply an experiment, but that would causes a problem to the idea of a benevolent God, because He's just experimenting in causing mass extinctions in a rather sadistic way, like absolutely no care for us. But when you look at the universe in that idea of a computer programming, polytheism does make a lot of sense. with the troll programmer that militant Pacius just said it kind of is sort of a trolling programmer, because in a polytheism you have multiple gods and you could have multiple programmers all competing against one another, and then one decided to create a program where dinosaurs evolve. And then one of the older programs said, "Oh, your dinosaurs look like shit. I'm gonna create here an algorithm that is gonna make this asteroid here go and hit the Earth and extinct your fucking ugly dinosaurs. And then let's start a new evolution and see what the machine is gonna what the simulation is gonna cause." This is a fascinating possibility that you have multiple programmers, maybe each one creating their own universe, and then one started trolling with the other, creating things that causes problems in the universe, and just see what is going to happen. There is something I want to talk in a future stream about, the idea of karma, which is sort of like a game show of the gods. So gods, the idea of polytheism would be gods just playing games with us, if it's in the case that we assume that we are in a simulation. So this is all very interesting thought experiments that would make sense. And this is something that, even though I am an atheist, this is all thought experiments, and I see no reason to believe in any of those things. But I think polytheism makes far more sense than monotheism. When you think about these possibilities and how chaotic the universe is, to me, it makes much more sense that you have different forces, different powerful forces behind it, not one omnipotent God, but different powerful forces behind it, competing against one another, and sometimes just playing tricks with one another, and just causing chaos in order to see what's going on and just have fun and just kind of trolling. To me, this is a much more appealing idea. If I were to believe in gods, I probably would be a polytheist, because I think it explains reality in a much more coherent way. So, but of course, going Voltron, as Nadia Roden pointed out, yeah, absolutely, it could be the case. It could be the case there is a sadistic God, but then it poses a problem with the idea of a morally perfect God that most monotheist religions pointed out. So it's a problem of benevolence that I really have with religions when we see how chaotic the universe is. Now, they try to come up with the idea of free will, but honestly, I think a paternalist God that cares about his children would put their well-being before free will. I actually am not convinced by that argument at all. So yeah, absolutely. As Jaron pointed out, I think monotheism is contrary to nature. I agree with that. And I think polytheism is far more appealing if I were to believe in God. And when I did my Pascal ages response was exactly what I said. Actually, if the Greek gods exist or some version of them, I'll be actually thrilled, because I think the Greek gods, at least some of them, are pretty cool. And even the shitty ones, they're actually kind of cool. But of course, I don't believe in any of them. I see no reason to believe in any of them. And if they actually existed, and I am challenging here, they should be able to do some kind of intervention here and do some sort of appearance. They wouldn't be able to physically appear themselves, but they could insert some line of code here that would make something appear representing them, some sort of avatar. They don't do that. So that is why I still hold my position as an atheist, that I have no reason to believe that these gods exist. And of course, then there is another issues regarding rationalism, and which I also cover, and I'm going to cover again in the future. So, well, thank you all for watching. All of you have been in the chat. Thank you very much. I'm ending the stream now. 10 minutes, almost 10 minutes. No God showed up. And as the experiment goes, it's another week, another challenge. God or gods have not provided any evidence that they exist. So I keep my position as an atheist, and I say that there is no God. I've been Sarah Michel, and I thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next time. Cheers.